Madam, I got a call from the people in the community, and they said you are disturbing the peace. You smelling up the place, and you're doing something. Your food always seems to smell good.
Please, you get the best of these things.
These things just make you go good. I want these things, and I'll get up for evidence.
I love all of you.
Peppies, we put the pep back into your kitchen.
And you.
Your top stories this evening, sponsored by Courts Bringing Value Home. Chairman Adams calls for greater collaboration for Region 10 to meet its true economic potential. Walk the talk. Broom slams authorities for failure to address cases of domestic violence. GHRA warns against Guyana's involvement in U.S. deportation policy, and the tragic quarantine accident claims the lives of 3 young men. HGP Nightly News begins now. Good evening to our viewers here in Guyana and online. I'm Aletha Grant with the Tuesday, 25th February 2025 edition of the HGP Nightly News. This is what you need to know this evening. As Guyana celebrated its 55th Republic anniversary, Regional Chairman for Region 10, Deron Adams, renewed calls for government to collaborate with the local leadership to drive sustainable development across the region. Find out more from Tiana Cole.
In his address marking Guyana's Republic anniversary, Regional Chairman for Region 10, Deron Adams, emphasized the importance of self-determination, local governance, and collaboration in achieving sustainable development. He also highlighted the need for improved infrastructure, greater investment in youth and agriculture, and more inclusive governance to ensure meaningful progress.
So I encourage the spirit of collaboration and collective effort to make this community even more resilient as we work together to secure development inputs that are relevant to the realities of life here in our region.
Adams also lamented the slow pace with which youth development and critical infrastructure projects are moving.
The pace of investment in our youth leaves much to be desired, even after our repeated calls to step up the pace of work on the synthetic track at Beira, or to rehabilitate the pool at Kokoni.
However, he expressed concerns that development projects continue to be implemented without adequate input from local representatives, leading to inefficiencies and delays. One of the major concerns raised was infrastructure development. Adams pointed out that while roads are being constructed across communities, drainage systems are not receiving the same urgency, increasing the risk of flooding and property damage.
We welcome the provision of these roads, but not at the expense of putting the property, businesses, and lives of our residents in danger.
Turning to Region 10's agricultural potential, Adams lamented the lack of investment in the Millie's Hideout Road, which would facilitate a farm-to-market link between Berbice River and Linden. This project, he said, would empower farmers, reduce the cost of food prices, and bolster the region's economic development.
There has been a reluctance to invest in our farmers in this way over the past 4 years. With the construction of this road from the Millie's Hideout to the Berbice River still not being financed in a way that would see its completion anytime. service reform still not being financed in a way that will see its completion anytime soon.
He further noted that senior citizens continue to face challenges accessing their pensions due to logistical inefficiencies that could be resolved through better coordination with local governance structures. Adams, however, urged the residents and leaders to embrace a spirit of collaboration and collective effort to strengthen the region's resilience. Tiana Cole reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Following the brutal killing of a young mother, allegedly at the hands of her husband, leader of the Assembly for Liberty and Prosperity movement, Simona Brooms, led a peaceful picketing exercise outside the Ministry of Human Services and the Social Security, condemning the system's failure to protect women from domestic violence. Tiana Cole reports.
Leader of the Assembly for Liberty and Prosperity ALP movement, Simona Brooms, argued that while laws and policies exist, they must be properly implemented. She stressed that domestic violence cases must be handled with urgency and that the state should intervene from the moment a report is made.
We want the state to carry these matters. From the time the woman gave that report to the police station, the state must pick that matter up and push it through court.
She emphasized that women and girls must be protected at all times, rather than authorities responding, in most cases, after they would have already lost their lives. She criticized the system for reporting on statistics and issuing statements, rather than working to prevent them.
For too long, while politics will show that many women sit in offices like human services, they're women. But what is happening? Are they being controlled by a bigger force?
Brooms vowed that the ALP movement would not remain silent on domestic abuse. She declared that the party would not only advocate for change, but actively fight to ensure action is taken to prevent violence against women and girls.
The ministers of the government who control the system are not doing us a favor. You took an oath to do that, and I'm saying you got to walk the walk.
She also called on men in society to stop abusing women, pointing out that even women in powerful positions are facing abuse behind closed doors.
We got women in parliament taking the licks and like it's like a normal thing. We got women in high offices in the police force taking it like it's a normal thing. We got military. We got women all over this place. We got the rich and mighty wives locking up behind door.
Over the weekend, 27-year-old Kenisha Vaughn, a mother of a 3-year-old boy, was shot 12 times allegedly by her husband, Marlon De Silva. The businessman is currently assisting police with their investigation into what appears to be a domestic violence case. The incident took place at the couple's Diamond Housing Scheme East Bank Demerara home. According to a police report, De Silva and Vaughn had an argument during which the businessman reportedly slapped her. In retaliation, police said Vaughn reportedly reached for a knife and approached the suspect. It was at this point that De Silva pulled out his licensed firearm from the waist of his pants and discharged several rounds in Vaughn's direction, hitting her about her body. Tiana Cole reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
The Guyana Human Rights Association has raised concerns over reports that Guyana is in discussion to receive African and Asian deportees from the United States. The organization emphasized that any engagement on this issue must align with the laws of both countries, while urging the Guyana government to proceed with caution. Tiana Cole reports.
The Guyana Human Rights Association, GHRA, has cautioned the government against entering into any agreements that could implicate Guyana in what it described as the quote-unquote brutal exhibitionism of the United States deportation system, which is disproportionately targeting people of color. While acknowledging the complexity surrounding U.S. immigration policies, the GHRA emphasized that the current crackdown appears to disregard legal protections, including temporary protected status, which allows individuals to reside and work in the U.S. while the asylum applications are processed. The organization condemned the ongoing deportation efforts, stating that they reflect a blatant disregard for human rights, legal protections, and family unity. The GHRA stressed that Guyana must not allow itself to be drawn into any form of collaboration with what it described as President Trump's forced relocation and mayhem. Instead, the organization insists that Guyana's involvement should be limited to ensuring humane treatment for Guyanese nationals returning from the U.S. in full adherence to regional and international human rights standards. Furthermore, the GHRA outlined key conditions that must be met should Guyana be compelled to engage in any deportee-related discussions. It emphasized that all relevant U.S. laws must be respected, including the constitutional right to citizenship for persons born in the U.S. Additionally, Guyana must ensure that its immigration requirements for in-transit individuals are upheld and that written assurances are obtained to guarantee that no person will be forcibly brought to the country except for transit purposes. The organization also highlighted the need for adequate financial resources to cover the costs of onward travel and sufficient provisions for any temporary stay in Guyana for third country deportees before their departure to their home countries in Africa and Asia. Further, the GHRA stated that any agreement must include commitments from the deportees' home countries to receive them once they transit through Guyana. It also stressed that airlines must be warned that the Guyana government will not tolerate any form of cruel, inhumane, or degrading treatment during deportations. Tianako reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
We'll be back after this break. Stay tuned.
SNL Electrical Inc., where lighting and electrical needs are met with expertise and style. From the latest in electrical lamps to durable cables, circuit breakers, panels, we have it all. Illuminate your space with our elegant chandeliers, stunning crystal lights, and versatile pole lights. Looking to upgrade your comfort? Explore top-of-the-line AC units and our diverse selections of stylish styles. Visit us at 170-180 Thomas Street, 80, Georgetown. Discover a solution that not only lights up your world but transforms it. Call us on telephone number 226-3018 or 223-1634. SNL Electrical Inc. powering your life with elegance, quality, and care.
With 70% ethyl alcohol, Mighty Foam Hand Sanitizer eliminates 99.99% of all germs and even moisturizes in the process, leaving your skin clean and hydrated. Mighty Foam Hand Sanitizer. How do you stay clean?
You're watching the HGP Nightly News as we continue amid questions pertaining to ExxonMobil's current insurance policy. Country manager Alistair Rutledge says it is a possibility the company will have to pay more on its policy for the Stabroek block going forward.
ExxonMobil Ghana Limited has renewed its $600 million insurance policy for the Stabroek block for 2023 to 2024. And may likely see an increase for its 2025 policy given additional projects ongoing in the Stabroek block. That is according to oil conglomerate head Alistair Rutledge.
With respect to oil spill insurance, I assure you that will be a new program or a new insurance policy will be put in place. We will always ensure that we meet the requirements of the permits.
The head of ExxonMobil explained that if one policy can manage potential risks, the next will focus on details of the premium. This means that while having a good insurance policy is important, it is also essential to understand the financial aspects.
Insurance policy covers an individual event. So what you're talking about is by having more operations, does the probability go up? That might affect a premium, but it wouldn't necessarily change. You wouldn't necessarily need to have additional policies.
These factors significantly influence choices businesses must make with regards to insurance coverage. Meanwhile, Rogers also sought to address lingering questions regarding the Wales Gas LNG venture. He said the company is awaiting the Guyana government to finalize the construction of the project in order to know the final costs for the pipeline and other facilities.
When it comes to the pipeline, the estimate was $1 billion. We are still in the process of closing out contracts for all the different suppliers. So I don't have an absolute final number at this stage, but it is very much in line with the original budget of $1 billion US.
Plans are also in train for ExxonMobil to build a 13-kilometer gas export pipeline from its Hammerhead project to connect the gas to LNG pipeline. I am Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
And we're still with ExxonMobil. Antonio Day will now tell us too that the oil conglomerate intends to make at least one additional discovery this year in the Stabroek Block, which currently contains an estimated 11 billion barrels of crude.
That well will be called Hamlet, the Hamlet 1 well. And that's actually looking for an oil play in the southeast portion of the block.
That was President of ExxonMobil Guyana Limited, Also Routledge, during a recent press conference. According to the ExxonMobil head, the company is still finalizing its exploration options for the Hamlet well.
We drilled some large exploration wells last year. We're digesting the results of those. In the meantime, we've identified one exploration well that we're progressing the approvals for with the government and the EPA.
ExxonMobil has made 46 discoveries in the 6.6 million acre block, as noted by Finance Minister Dr. Ashni Singh during his 2025 budget presentation. In 2024, the oil company announced 5 new discoveries. Exxon said it will continue its exploration program this year, targeting wells with attractive prospects. Exxon has obtained regulatory approvals to develop 6 projects out of the 46 discoveries that have been announced thus far. The projects include Liza 1, Liza 2, Payara, Yellowtail, Rorau, and Whittail. Liza 1, Liza 2, and Payara are currently producing an average of 650,000 barrels of oil per day, with production expected to increase this year with the launch of Yellowtail. I'm Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Police earlier on Tuesday recovered 4 stolen engines and a boat on the number 75 beach in the Quarantine Coast. A 51-year-old fisherman who was alone in the Abori Sluice Rivermouth area said 3 men approached him, questioned him, and then tied him up and threatened to shoot him. They then made their escape with 4 outboard engines and a boat and several containers of gasoline. The man claimed too that at one point the suspects untied him and demanded his assistance in fetching the engines onto another vessel. When they were done, the suspects tied his hands and feet with a piece of rope and a zip strap. The 51-year-old said he managed to free himself, raised an alarm, and the matter was reported to the police. He was arrested and placed into custody. He is assisting police with their investigation. We'll be back after this break. Stay with us.
Planning a cleanup? We can help. Sevon's Waste Management skip bins can be provided for home renovation projects, yard cleanup, or construction project. Bins can be provided for home renovation projects, yard cleanup, or construction project. It's simple. Step 1, give us a call. Step 2, we put down the bin. Step 3, load it up with all of your junk. Step 4, we take it away. That's simple. Bins are also available in various sizes, so there is no job that is too big or too small. Call Sevon's Waste Management today at 218-1455.
Ready to up your game? Ready to up your game? Win big with over 60 epic prizes. A brand new PS5, Nintendo Switch, iPhone 16 Pro Max, Apple Smartwatch, and the hottest earbuds from Apple and Samsung. Plus, we are giving away thousands in phone credit and a whole year supply of Buster or Turbo Energy Drink. Here's how. Buy any Buster or Turbo Energy Drink. Find the code starting with BB and enter online or on WhatsApp. Visit us on Facebook or Instagram at Turbo_Caribbean or Buster Guyana for all the details. Don't just play. Up your game with Buster and Turbo Energy.
Watching the HGP Nightly News. Welcome back. The Guyana National Bureau of Standards on Tuesday launched the 5th edition of the National Quality Awards program, signaling the commencement of the application process for small businesses interested in meeting international standards. Daisy Richards reports.
The Guyana Bureau of Standards, in continuing its support for local businesses, launched the 5th edition of the National Quality Awards program. They signaled the commencement of the application process for small business owners who are interested in servicing international markets. Executive Director of the Guyana National Bureau of Standards, GNBS, Trevor Basu, said the institution will continue its efforts in ensuring businesses strive for excellence.
That more and more businesses and organizations are recognizing the need and the benefits of embracing standards, which results in quality output, which results in more businesses and loyal customers.
This year, Basu highlighted that the GNBS is looking to approve at least 30 standards compared to 33 the previous year. The institution trained 924 persons in 2024 in a number of areas, including quality management systems and health and safety.
No, those businesses will receive bragging rights. Right? Those businesses that are successful have an opportunity to see that we would have received an award, a national quality award for our business success in the year 2025.
Meanwhile, President of the Guyana Manufacturing Services Association, Ramsey Ali, has this challenge for small business owners.
I really would like to encourage them, I'm going to do this from the GNSA and the other BSOs to really champion the smaller businesses in this country to get on board with this program, because it's important for their businesses.
The applications process is now open, with the award ceremony scheduled for October 2025, coinciding with the National Quality Week. For HGP Nightly News, I am Daisy Richards.
Businessman Marlon De Silva will on Wednesday be charged in the Georgetown Magistrates Court for the gruesome murder of his wife, Kenesha Vaughn. The incident took place at the couple's Diamond Housing Scheme home on Saturday night last. The police said the young mother received a dozen gunshot wounds to her body. Reports indicate that the police on Tuesday sought to have De Silva's hours in detention extended. According to reports, De Silva was imbibing with a group of friends at a popular city hangout when he received a call from Vaughn requesting he should return home. A police report said on his return, an argument ensued and the businessman dealt her a slap. And in retaliation, Vaughn reportedly reached for a kitchen knife and approached the suspect. De Silva then pulled out his licensed firearm from the waist of his pants, discharging several rounds in her direction, which hit her about the body, causing her to fall to the floor. The suspect then contacted the police, who, on arrival at the scene, took Vaughn to the Diamond Hospital, where she died while receiving treatment. Police said the breathalyzer was done and his blood alcohol content was 83%, well above the 35% prescribed limit. Police are currently investigating an accident on the Quarantine Coast that claimed the lives of 3 young men. Daisy Richards is on that story.
The accident that occurred on the number 79 public road in Quarantine at around 12:15 a.m. on Monday claimed the lives of Kashan Ramnath, 18, Adrian Inchan, 22, and Amir Soban, 21. According to the Guyana Police Force, the motorcycle ridden by Ramnath with Inchan as the pillion rider was proceeding south at a fast rate when the rider lost control and collided with another motorcycle operated by Soban, who was proceeding north. As a result of the collision, they were all flung from the respective motorcycles, landing on the road, where they all received multiple injuries. They were picked up by public-spirited citizens and taken to the Skeldon Public Hospital, where they were examined by a doctor on duty. Amir Soban and Kashan Ramnath were pronounced dead. Initially, Adrian Inchan, the pillion rider, was in an unconscious state and was taken to the New Amsterdam Hospital for further medical attention, even as his condition was listed as serious. It was later reported by the regional commander that he later succumbed to his injuries while receiving medical attention. His death brought the toll in the accident to 3. Investigations are currently ongoing into the tragic accident. For HGP Nightly News, I am Daisy Richards.
Stay tuned for regional news.
Make your home look great with sash windows from Gaffers. They're fitted with 4mm thick glass with a male and female frame that's easy to join. Comes with a built-in mosquito screen. You can adjust the opening for ventilation to suit yourself. And it has a safety locking mechanism too. Yes, Gaffers sash windows not only look good, they've got all the great features that make them the best design in windows anywhere. Get Gaffers sash windows for the perfect fit and finish for your home from the Macroom Mega Store and Gaffers outlets of Porica. Means that call 223-9896 for more information anytime. Gaffers, the name you can trust.
Interested in honoring or paying tribute to a loved one, or just making a loved one feel special? HGP TV offers you all that and more. Air your birthday greetings, death announcements, and wedding anniversaries on HGP TV today. HGP TV offers affordable prices, convenience, and great services. Call us on 220-3660 or email us at sales@hgptv.com.
Visit Gaffers Ironmongery Department for all your building needs. Bolts and nuts, zinc plated, high tensile, anchor bolts and threaded rods. Package nails for your convenience. Screws for wood, metal, and concrete. Building a fence, we've got cast iron railheads and decorative fencing. Gate slides and pivots. Laser and barbed wire. For your carpentry needs, we stock tight bond, wood glues, and evil stick. Hasps and staples. Hinges, butts, catches, and brackets. And a wide selection of modern design cupboard handles and knobs. Secure your property and loved ones with quality Yale products such as padlocks, available in several sizes and types. Knobs, lever, deadlocks, and decorative door locks. Moving heavy loads is easy with caster wheels and hand trucks that cater for any job. For construction, you've got scaffolding along with ladders, multi-purpose, extended, fiberglass, and step ladders too. For everything you need under one roof, it's Gaffers, the name you can trust.
Good evening and welcome to Tuesday's edition of the Regional News. Dozens of Venezuelan migrants boarded small boats on an island off the Caribbean coast of Panama on February 24, setting off towards Colombia by sea as part of a reverse migration of families who have given up trying to reach the U.S. At least 6 boats, each with more than a dozen people aboard, departed the island off the coast of Panama, aiming to reach near the Colombian border. From there, the migrants plan to continue their southbound journey until arriving home in their native Venezuela. The reverse migration follows U.S. President Donald Trump's crackdown on unlawful migration, including a broad ban on asylum cases, in addition to the elimination of his predecessor's humanitarian parole programs, which had offered some migrants legal pathways to enter the country. attempt to combat rising gang violence in CARICOM, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley, who is the regional body's lead on crime and security, says steps are being taken to strengthen laws to now treat gun violence as an act of terrorism. Speaking at the closing media conference for the 48th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government in Barbados, Dr. Rowley announced, quote unquote, "We agreed that notwithstanding social considerations, we agreed that the changing nature of crime is such that actions and acts of violence in the public space in certain instances must now be regarded as acts of terrorism." The TT Prime Minister sought to explain the need for the legislative change, which he anticipates will be drafted in the coming months. Dr. Rowley also announced that CARICOM has agreed to appoint a high-level representative on law and criminal justice to form a strategic plan to modernize the criminal justice system in the region. A Kenyan police officer was killed on Monday in Haiti, north of the capital Port-au-Prince, the first casualty since the Kenyan-led security mission arrived in the Caribbean country in June 2024, the mission's authorities said. The multinational security support mission to Haiti said in a statement that the Kenyan officer was injured during an operation and was then airlifted to a hospital where he died. That has been the first casualty the nation has suffered since the UN-backed anti-gang force arrived in the country, where rampant gang violence has displaced more than 1 million people. The officer was killed during a confrontation with gang members. The death yesterday came amid a surge in gang-related violence in the metropolitan area of Port-au-Prince over the last week. Thank you for watching. I am Tiana Cole.
Chairman Adams calls for greater collaboration for Region 10 to meet its true economic potential. Walk the talk. Broom slams authorities for failure to address cases of domestic violence. GHRA warns against Guyana's involvement in U.S. deportation policy, and the tragic quarantine accident claims the lives of 3 young men. Those are all major headlines. For these stories and more, please go to our website. It's www.hgptv.com. I'm Alethea Grant. Thanks for watching.